welcome to another Campfire Gaming Podcast episode. I'm your host, Matt. This is a very exciting episode. This is our last episode of 2021. It's going to be jam-packed full of a whole bunch of exciting information, news, and awards because it's our Campies episode, as well as covering the Game Awards. So let's just kick it off here. So as I mentioned, holiday break coming up for us. You will see us back. Let's see, our first episode back of the new year will be on January 15th. So we look forward to having you listen to our next episode there. So enjoy your holidays and thanks for listening this year. We'll see you in the next year. You can also find our website and socials at campfiregamingpodcast.com. We have our Discord, our Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Come say hi. Come follow, like, subscribe. You know how the social stuff works. And we keep pimping the Discord just because we love chatting with all you. It was a little quiet this week, but I think we were all a little busy. But now we got the announcement. Now that we got the announcements and social stuff out of the way, I'd like to introduce two very special people, Chris and Rich. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing okay.
Yeah. Doing good, man. How are you? You excited for this? Excited to get into the Campies?
I am excited.
We got a lot to talk about.
We had a lot of fun doing this last year. It's going to be a little bit different this year because I think the way we did last year was like top games and stuff from the last 10 years.
We had a unique opportunity to do games of the decade, which was awesome. So we went back through. Yeah, we went back through games of, over 10 years to kind of pick apart what games we wanted to give Campies to.
So we're not doing
trophy.
Yeah, we're not doing the decade again this time around, and we had to get a little bit creative because we're not full-time journalists or anything like that, so we can't play every new game this year. So yeah, look forward to that. We'll get into that shortly, but for now we're going to kick it off with the Game Awards that happened as of recording last Thursday. So yeah, it was interesting. It was fun. It was 3 hours long, just jam-packed full of trailers. And occasionally they sprinkled in some awards. So, but I guess jump into it. You guys have any initial comments about the Game Awards before we get into some of the exciting trailers that were showed off?
Nothing other than there was a lot of trailers.
That there was.
Yeah, there was a ton of stuff in at the Game Awards. This was 3.5 hours long or something like that. It was long.
They clocked in just over 3 hours, and
that's not with the 30-minute, 45-minute pre-show too.
Oh yeah, and then there was that 30-minute pre-show. Yeah, which did you guys watch that one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Football hadn't started yet, so
yeah. So video game stuff, but
right. So yeah, I went through and watched some of the pre-show stuff. They gave away a couple of awards. I mean, they didn't do a lot of the bring them out of the audience, which I thought was kind of weird because at first I thought I was watching the Game Awards and they were like, and the winner of best whatever goes to such and such, and the dude was already on the stage with a microphone. I'm like, wow, that was scripted. He must have already knew he won.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to get up from the audience or anything. I was like, wow.
Yeah, if you notice,
that was all scripted.
The pre-show, the whole was it Microsoft Theater or whatever it is, was pretty empty. That even the crowd wasn't there.
Well,
so
COVID restrictions are still pretty heavily in place. So,
but they also hadn't seated anybody yet at that time for the pre-show. Because then once the whole show happens, you start seeing the audience is filled. That stadium is actually filled out, and everybody was all excited to be back in the same room again.
A lot of random people. I spotted a few people in the crowd like Tim Schafer and Phil Spencer and who was the other one? There was another one I recognized, but yeah, no, it was a good time. But the pre-show was about 30 minutes long. There wasn't a ton of information there, and just kind of to set up how we're going to go through this. There was a ton. It was like we said, over 3 hours long between the pre-show and the main show. Tons of trailers. We're not going to cover every single trailer that was shown. We kind of are going to give you the highlights, and then just recommend to go watch the full 3.5 hours because we don't want this episode to be 3.5 hours long. So
longer than that.
Yeah, I know the way we talk and go through things. So, but as far as kind of some trailers that were shown off in the pre-show that were kind of, to me, some of the highlights were the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. which I mean, I kind of knew right when they did is that the squeaky door? There's a sound effect that's associated with that movie, and I heard, I'm like, oh, it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. So I'm excited to kind of see what that is. Hopefully it's not one of those like 4v1. Is it what's that?
I thought it
Oh.
is. Isn't it supposed
that
to be
what
an asymmetric? I thought it's from the. I could be mistaken, but I swear it's from the team that actually did the Friday the 13th game.
It could be.
Well, it could be interesting.
I didn't know who the developers are of this.
Yeah.
Who did? So who did do this game? Or who is doing this game?
Who is doing it?
Yeah.
We better let the people know, because I know Dan will be excited to hear too. So
What, like Gun Media Interactive. That seems like that's one of the names coming up here.
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
They're the primary developer.
Yeah. So I mean, we didn't get a whole lot of gameplay. It was more or less just a teaser.
CGI, yeah, CGI teaser trailer. Nothing fancy. Which I think, we had a mix throughout the show of CGI like and in-game stuff. So it varied.
Yep.
It varied on game. If a game was coming out soon or already out, there was a lot of in-game stuff.
They are behind Friday the 13th.
Oh, bummer. I was hoping to be
people who did Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was actually pretty well regarded outside of some tech issues and then licensing issues.
Right. Because then not too long after that is when Dead by Daylight came out, and that's what kind of blew it out of the water. You know, with that 5v1 sort of, or the 4v1.
I just want a God of War style Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. You can upgrade your chainsaws.
Like slay people.
Anyways,
there's a game kind of like that coming out, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. One of the other kind of highlight trailers I'd say from the pre-show was a game based off a show, based off a book, The Expanse. The reason I kind of thought that was interesting was it's, I believe, Telltale Games' first game back from being shut down and then reopened. So.
Yes, they finished the game, if I remember correctly, or finished an update to one of the Walking Dead games. But yeah, this is their first like full from
back.
Yeah.
Their John Wick moment, you know. Mm-hmm. Everybody keeps asking if I'm back. But yeah. So that was kind of the pre-show. Nothing too exciting there. Do you want to talk about the one of the awards there, Rich, or do we want to just save all that till after?
I don't remember. So a couple of the awards that like they did them really, really quick. So they weren't like, you know, they get the card out and like read the thing. It was more so just, I don't remember who it was who was hosting the pre-show, but she basically just said, oh, and the award for, you know, best esports athlete or something like that goes to Simple. All right. I know who Simple is. I don't know if you guys probably don't know who Simple is.
Not a clue.
Yeah. So a couple of those were like, you know, they did best esports team, which was Navi for CSGO. Simple, who I think is also a Navi as well for CSGO. He was the best esports athlete, the best esport event, which was the League of Legends World Finals. That's pretty obvious. It's like out of the list there, it was going to be either that or the International, which I don't know if the International has kind of maintained its popularity. I mean, Dota is a huge game across the world. So, I mean, it's no surprise that the International is a big event, but compared to the World Finals, there's a lot more showmanship, I guess, to the World Finals. I've been to the World Finals myself. It's very fun. And then, the Reddit pick for Game of the Year, which was Resident Evil Village, one of our book clubs, and potentially a winner of a Campy. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll never know.
Mm-hmm.
At least not for another 30-40 minutes. So.
Right. But yeah, it was a bunch of those that were kind of like that in like kind of rapid succession. It'd be like 2 of those awards go to a trailer, 2 of those awards go to a trailer.
Yep. And that was the pre-show, and like they kind of basically continued that into the main show. You know, it was just like trailer. They picked like 5 or 6 like main awards that they actually had somebody come up on stage and say something, and, you know, maybe have like the Game Awards orchestra play something. But for the most part, there was a lot of that, like, oh, and this game won this, and this. You even heard it for 1 or 2 of the awards that were given out. It's like, oh, this game won best narrative, and it also won blah, 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 you know?
Yep.
So it was, yeah, we can get into our thoughts about the show here in a little bit, but that's kind of how it's set up. It was, again, mostly just, it was a 3.5 hours of trailers with some awards sprinkled in there. So,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as the main show, we did get a little bit of excitement that wasn't like it's game related, but it's more about movies or series. And two trailers that were shown off related to a movie or a series that I thought was pretty important was one, Sonic 2. I don't know if you guys saw Sonic 1.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good.
I didn't, but I heard it was good.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. Yeah.
Once they fix that horrific Sonic that was originally supposed to
Which they did joke about during the Game Awards. They had the voice actor for Sonic come out and he poked made a couple of jokes on the community's feedback towards the original iteration of Sonic, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, so I'm glad they made that change because the movie itself was pretty good. So I'm excited to see the second one here.
Yeah, but we also got, we got like a cool little video from Jim Carrey. We got a little bit, we got to see the trailer. We found out that, we have Idris Elba as Knuckles, which actually from the trailer actually sounds pretty cool. Like he sounds like he's doing a pretty good job as Knuckles. So that'll be pretty fun. Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited. It looks like a good movie.
Yeah, should be fun.
Yep.
The other big kind of trailer we got, and we knew this one was coming though, was the Halo TV series from Paramount and Steven Spielberg and Microsoft. And what'd you guys think about that?
We still didn't see a lot.
Yeah, it was a teaser. We didn't get much into it. We saw a couple of interesting shots, like a couple of close up on some faces. One of them I'm guessing is Dr. Halsey.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Oh, yes. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Blonde in a lab coat.
Halsey.
Yep. And then we got a couple of good looks of some Spartan armor, a good action shot of the chief, a couple of good like landscape shots of something.
I hope they do a little bit of work. His armor looks like plastic. It kind of got to me a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of looks like video game armor.
Mm-hmm.
But when is this? Isn't supposed to? Well, they didn't put a date other than 2022 on it, have they?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So if this is mid or late 2022,
they have time.
I think they have time to kind of do post processing, post effects, or whatever whatever they do to touch things up after.
But that's going to be the real big challenge of it, right? Is how do you make some of the video game stuff not look like chintzy and video gamey in a real live action setting? It's kind of hard.
Well, at least it didn't remind me of like a sci-fi show. Not that all sci-fi shows are bad,
like
but
the Resident Evil movie,
or like a Resident Evil.
Yeah,
initial impressions.
Yeah, Sci-Fi Channel show. Got it.
Yeah.
So my hopes there. We'll see how the story and everything plays out. I already have a little nitpick, but I was talking to my roommate who's a big Halo nerd. He said, "Oh, they retconned that early on. Spartans were all supposed to have the same armor." So that like if stuff gets damaged in battle and one goes down or something, you could easily interchange stuff. But like the Spartans in the show have different armor. So just a small little nitpick, but apparently it's been retconned and that's not true anymore. Thanks 343. But I'm excited.
And that wasn't the last of like the trailers that we got either, because we got a little bit of the stuff from The Matrix as well. With The Matrix coming up in a couple of weeks, it's the 22nd, which I am very excited for. I do really want to see what the fourth Matrix movie brings, but they revealed the Matrix experience and gave a little bit of insight into some of the trailer. That was kind of neat. Got a little video from Keanu and Carrie-Anne Moss. Although Carrie-Anne Moss looked like she was super bored.
Yeah, she
kind of looked like she didn't really was like, all right, let's get this over with.
She was the whole Marshawn Lynch type thing, I'm just here so I don't get. It was
don't get fined.
Contract, so she had to show up.
She was in the experience, which is really well done and an excellent showcase of Unreal 5. But I'm sure it was part of the contract. Like you're obligated, you have to do it.
Hey, you know what? I can't wait till I see either one of them on Hot Ones. So I'm just throwing that one out there. Someone's going to be doing the circuit.
I hope. They should do it together.
That would be kind of cool. But I think the season's
at least
over.
Keanu. There's always
they ended the season with Tom Holland, so I don't know. Yeah, we might not get that, unfortunately.
Who knows?
Anyway.
Maybe he'll be the one to kick it off next year. But
maybe.
But yeah, so those were kind of some movie and TV show trailers, and they had a couple others sprinkled in there as well, like we said with the Matrix and stuff. But as far as game trailers, some of the kind of the big hitters that were shown were, I guess the first big one for me was Hellblade 2. That was kind of, wasn't technically a book club, but that was kind of one of our first forays into the realm of book club episodes. And yeah, they showed off Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga. This is running an Unreal Engine 5, and it was gameplay. It looked great. So I'm excited for this one.
Looks.
I didn't play the original.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't play the original. I wasn't there for the when they did the playthrough of that. I was
I think it's
I don't
on
remember
Game
what
Pass.
I was doing. No, I think
It's still on
you guys just kind of wanted to play it, and I was doing something else. I wasn't in that episode though.
That predates me, but
Yep.
no, it looks
No, it's-
fantastic. So
Rich, you should play it. You
Okay,
should play it.
I'll get around to it one of these days.
Yep. So the next big game, which I was very surprised to see this, and we were chatting on Discord while this happened, and Chris and I were like, "What is this game? What is this game?" We knew it was a Star Wars game, but we're like, "Oh, is it KOTOR?" And I'm sitting there, that I forgot what they showed. It was like Federation ships. I'm like, "No way, this is KOTOR."
yeah, and you saw Yoda or one of his species sitting at a window. It's like,
Yeah,
wait, no,
yeah.
wait,
Yeah.
this doesn't work.
Yeah, but early on, it was like a whole bunch of new stuff. We're like, "What is?" And
Yeah.
that crossed my mind too. Was KOTOR? No, it's Star Wars Eclipse. So this was a rumored game from Quantic Dreams, best known for games like Detroit and Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. They're working on a Star Wars game, and it's apparently going to be an action-y shooter type game.
It's such a change.
Which is
Yeah, I was gonna say, compared to the games you just listed, that is very, very different from Quantic Dream and Beyond Two Souls.
It's going to be, yeah, I'm very interested to see. This is a few years out, I think, still, from the sounds of it. But I'm excited to learn more because the trailer was awesome, and it looks really cool. And if who knows if the action shooter stuff is going to hit as far as gameplay, but if they can at least do the whole like Quantic Dreams good storytelling. Now, I'm not saying all the divergent paths, like the pick your own adventure stuff, but like just good storytelling. I'm excited for this. But next one that was kind of a surprise, I don't remember hearing rumors of this one, was Wonder Woman by Monolith. They're the makers of games such as Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, and Shadow of War. So just CGI trailers, so we don't I didn't see anything for what type of game it would be. So
It's just an announcement trailer, but it
Mhm.
looked cool, I guess, for a teaser.
It's good pedigree from the studios, so here's hoping. I don't know. I mean, with their pedigree, I don't know what kind of game this is going to be, because Wonder Woman doesn't kind of lend to like, here's a big open area, go fight things. Like, that's not really her story. So I don't know how this plays.
we got Quantic Dreams making an action shooter, and we got Monolith making who knows
Right.
Wonder
Yeah.
Woman games. So
Dogs and cats getting along, mass hysteria.
Chris, do you want to bring in the next one? I know this one. I'll let you announce this one.
I mean, this is a game I've been waiting for oh my God, 10 years, something like that now. Alan Wake 2 from Remedy Entertainment, the studio that obviously brought us Alan Wake, Quantum Dreams, and our book club game Control. And they're making it slightly differently than they did before. While they are bringing back the actor, oh God, the actor and the voice actor of Alan Wake, they're going full on survival horror as opposed to the psychological thriller that the old school one is. So that part kind of freaks me out a little bit, but I'm still excited to see what they do. I love Remedy.
Yeah. I was wondering what your opinion on that was going to be, just because they're kind of different genres.
Yeah, it's definitely a different style, but I could see how you could do it with the Alan Wake series. So
Sure. Did you jump at the jump scare?
oh yeah, I jump at jump scares. It's just a thing. There's a reason why I don't play a lot of horror games.
I still need to play the Alan Wake remaster. Just never. October through December has been so busy, but
Mhm.
maybe the new year I'll pick it up and get through it. But Yeah, no, that was exciting. I knew once I saw that come up, I'm like, oh, Chris is just
I was
over there
so
cheering.
excited. The football game got shut off completely, and I was just watching Alan Wake. And then Sam Lake himself was there.
Yep.
Mr. Max Payne himself. Well, the old Max Payne, not the last Max Payne.
Good news all around there. So the next one, which was, I'll be honest, I only put this in here for one reason, because it confirms that both Bloober Team and the original director of Silent Hill are not making a new Silent Hill game. This game called Slitterhead by Boca Games. There's just been rumors all years that either the original game director of Silent Hill or Bloober Team, or both of them, were working on a new Silent Hill. And Bloober
Working
Team
with the composer of the Silent Hill soundtrack, you know.
So it was just, we could finally put those not saying there isn't a new Silent Hill in development, but Bloober Team and the original director of Silent Hill are not involved in it. So, but otherwise the game just looked weird.
Hey, and Silent Hill fans, don't lose hope yet. All right. If you're like me, maybe that, so they had Guillermo del Toro on briefly to talk about his movie. I don't even remember what the movie was. Nightmare Alley. He was on to talk about Nightmare Alley just shortly after that trailer revealed. But he's like, I would like to see another Silent Hill. I don't know. Another Silent Hill would be kind of cool. And I'm like, that looks like a hint. That might be a hint. Let's hold out hope. See if we can get another Silent Hill, because I too would like another Silent Hill.
I think there's still rumors floating around for remasters too. So
I'm sure there will be.
Yeah, but I can't remember if it was the director or if it was Hideo Kojima that said, how do you remaster that game? Like he couldn't figure out how you would pull it off. But I don't know. Here's hoping. It'd be cool.
Yeah. They'll find a way.
Hopefully. We got a little teaser or another CGI trailer for Gollum: The Untold Story. Honestly, there wasn't a lot of information here other than Gollum kind of running around, and it looked like he's going to use stuff in the environment to kill orcs or sneak around or something. So
like a stealth kill orcs game.
Yeah.
Not voiced by Andy Serkis. That's
nope.
You lost me.
It's a bummer.
Probably didn't have enough money to bring him in for that. So.
Yeah, that's not cheap anymore.
I still want to be sold on the game. I want to see gameplay to understand it more, because we just get little bits here and there of like very story centric, kind of sneak around through exciting spots in Middle Earth. But it's kind of like you have the choice, I think, of killing like orcs or whatever to get through, or do a sneaky route. Because
I mean, like that's kind of what the trailer alluded to a little bit, is that Gollum was essentially arguing with himself to kill the orc or not to kill the orc. And so when he killed the orc, the helmet kind of rolls off the orc's head, and it bangs around and it attracts attention from a whole bunch of other orcs, where he had to like dump the lava on him. And so it was like, maybe that kind of involves some of the gameplay a little bit. Like you'll have to, make choices like that to kind of affect the gameplay, which could be really cool. Like, especially if you're doing more of a stealth game. I
struggle on what a story is for him. Like that, his character didn't really have anything going on when The Hobbit rolls around. Like he has just been here. So I don't know.
Sneaking around orcs.
He wasn't always in the caves there under the.
As someone who has never read the books, outside of like maybe 3 chapters, and then I got bored, and only saw the movies, which I fell asleep, I am fairly sure he stayed there the whole time. He killed his friend, and he lived in a cave. Story.
Yep. That's just for a very long time. That works. I'm okay with that. So along with the Sonic 2 movie trailer, we also got a little bit of news on the new Sonic game. It is in fact called Sonic Frontiers and looks very much like an open world Sonic game, which could be fun, or could I don't know. It'll be interesting.
To be honest, a lot of it looked like the world was kind of designed with like a track in mind. Like some of those bigger worlds looked like there was like, very directed pathways that you would probably end up running in. I have a hard time believing that they would make like a purely open world game where you can move that fast and not be able to like control. But it could be really fun to move around that fast and not be able to control it very well. I don't know.
We'll find out when the game comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Could be fun.
Here's a brief trailer.
We got another interesting trailer from Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. Looks like they were kind of taking on evil looking. I'm not super familiar with DC stuff. Do you guys know comic book wise, like what's going on there with like evil Superman and Flash, purple-eyed things?
Brainiac is. It looks like it kind of depends on what route they're actually going. Because if they're going where Brainiac is the actual villain and he's infected, I don't know what it's technically called. I just know he can control people. So if they're going that route, then that's what's going on with the Flash. But I believe, and I could be wrong, and I'm sure someone will correct me. Injustice is about Superman beating Brainiac and then taking that ability. So it could be that route.
Okay.
And that's why Superman's the kind of the big bad. But I don't know. There's still, I feel like there's a lot we really don't know about the story, which honestly might be for the best, but
we kind of got a lot of cuts to gameplay and stuff, so it could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious if you'll be like jumping around between the different kind of, or if that was just the trailer kind of showing off.
Is everything just a separate mission, or
or is there like kind of during a battle you do that kind of hot swapping between characters? And
I could see that they did that for GTA. Like GTA 5, where you kind of bounce between the different people, have to do something quick, and then you bounce to somebody else. Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I'm usually always interested when there's something that comes from Rocksteady there. So.
I was going to say Arkham, the whole Arkham series was a blast. So I'm glad we finally get something new from them.
Yeah, I love that series. It was so fun. Warhammer Space Marine 2 was shown off. This seems like that was really exciting for Warhammer fans, right, Rich?
That's true. That's very true.
You gonna play Space Marine 1?
Yes, I have not played the original, so now I really want to play the original because it looks basically just like, because I hadn't seen or heard much about Space Marine originally. I hadn't become a Warhammer fan until this year. So this summer is when I picked up Warhammer, and funny enough, I ended up picking up Space Marines as my army of choice. And then funny enough, of the Space Marine chapters, of course, I did lean towards Ultramarines. At least that's how I am playing my Space Marines currently. So the blue guys. So I was really excited when I saw the trailer, and then I saw the blue feet land on the pavement or whatever, and they get their chain swords out and they're just like ripping through Tyranids. I was like, oh my god, this looks awesome. This is exactly what I want right now. And so they did show off a little bit of gameplay with it too. So you got like some hack and slash and some shooty, and I'm all for it, man. That's why I really want to play the original to see what.
Man,
I think his name is like Captain Titus or something like that.
Came out 10 years ago. Holy cow.
Yeah, people been, apparently it's supposedly really, really good. And so I'm really interested to try it now. And fans were really, really excited to get their hands on another Space Marine game. So it looks like it's going to be sick.
You'll have to tell me what you think of the first one when you get through it. Maybe
yeah, it's on sale on Steam right now. Yeah, I might pick it up.
I don't need more games.
Come on, man. You always, that is not a real statement. You always need more games.
Especially on Steam.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right? It's on sale. It's only what, $3?
Probably
$3.29, 15.
Yeah, something like that.
We'll see.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like, I think the Space Marine is like still $60 on Steam normally.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Who else does that? Like,
it's still $60.
That's like an Activision.
I was going to say Activision loves to keep Call of Duty full price.
Or
published
really
by
high.
Sega.
Yeah, Sega owns most of that. Yeah.
Relic Entertainment. I do like Relic.
Original devs of Homeworld.
And Company of Heroes.
Also true. Which I do realize we don't have that in here, but we did get our first peek at the Homeworld series, the Homeworld 3.
That's true. Which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was sad we didn't get any teases of Randy Pitchford. No, the Borderlands movie's gonna be great, guys.
That's so
Homeworld's
he
coming.
wasn't there. Jesus.
Oh, good times. Yeah, so this next game, again, kind of just a CGI trailer. We don't know much about it, but it's a RTS game based called Dune Spice Wars, so based on Dune. So I don't play a ton of RTSs anymore, but I'd be interested to get into this one if it seems pretty good.
So I don't know if it's necessarily an RTS because they describe it as a 4X game.
Yeah, it's a 4X. Yeah.
Yeah, which is more like a Civ. Civ is a 4X game.
The original Dune game was an RTS, completely based off of the old Command and Conquer engine.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd never played it.
Yeah, Westwood Studios developed it, and it literally looks like a reskin.
Oh wow. I mean, I think that like switching it over to a 4X game actually sounds like a really cool idea, though.
I think it works for this. Yeah, I would say it works for the concept. I mean, it doesn't. It probably will fill in, or maybe we'll lose some of the people that just know it from the movies. But if you've read the books, I'm sure it'll be like really make a lot of sense to you.
Mm.
Yeah, so I guess like an RTS or 4X could do like what would I think do a good job with the Dune universe.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what if I missed I thought it was RTS, so I missed the 4X note, I guess. Who lets me put these notes into?
I don't know, man. Were you even watching the? Were you watching the game?
I don't think I was.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I've seen a couple of really good games as 4X besides Civ. I mean, funny enough, even I just bought a Warhammer game that was also a 4X game. It was super good.
Is it the Total War one?
No, it's oh god, I already forgot what it was called. Just goes to show you how much I've been playing it. No, but it was Gladius. Warhammer Gladius.
Oh, right. I think I own that one somewhere.
Yep.
On some system.
Deep in your Steam library.
Yeah, I had to go search for that one
it.
because I couldn't remember what the subtitle of that was. But yes, that is also a 4X game, which is pretty cool.
Another exciting sequel to a book club game that we had. It was our very first one this year. A Plague Tale Requiem. So the sequel. There was a good trailer shown with that. Looks like the rats are back. I'm curious if it's being made in Unreal Engine 5. I don't remember seeing an announcement for it, but it looked really nice. It didn't look like it was Unreal 4. It looked like something a little nicer. So, which I'm pretty sure the first game was made in Unreal 4. But anyways, I'm excited. I really enjoyed the first game.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what Amicia and what's the little kid's name? Anyways, their journey. What's the little boy's name?
You just gave up on it. Is the little boy?
Yeah.
Lucas is still in the game.
Yep.
He did not go away.
There you go. I'm excited to see where Amicia
Lucas isn't the brother, though.
I was going to say.
Yeah, Lucas isn't the brother. He's the apothecary.
Hugo, by the way, is the name of the little boy.
There you go.
But Amicia, she's got some upgrades, too. She's all strapped with a crossbow now. No more sling.
I'm excited for this one.
Hopefully she has a sling still.
I don't know.
Hopefully she has a sling and a crossbow.
She'll have the crossbow to start. She'll lose it at some point, and then she'll have to go back to the sling as like the throwback kind of God of War style callback.
What if instead of the bowstring she uses the sling?
Sling as the
yeah.
I mean,
it's
honestly,
an upgrade. It's an upgrade you can buy, right?
I mean, I'm just excited. I hope we get more rat tornadoes. So
God.
I want more rat tornadoes.
As ridiculous as that was,
was the Unreal 5 engine to the test.
Yep.
Yes, please.
I don't know a ton about this game, but we finally surfaced again, and we have a release date. Crossfire X, like the single player story, developed by Remedy, is coming February 10th. So could be interesting, could be fun.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
my understanding, the multiplayer part that's already out is not really huge here. It's bigger overseas, is my understanding.
Yes. Yeah, it's huge in Asian markets.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the counter, well, probably even bigger than the Counter-Strike of here.
Holy crap. Okay.
Yeah, it's massive. Like bigger than Halo, bigger than Counter-Strike. Like Crossfire is big.
bigger than Fork Fight. I don't know.
Bigger than Fork Fight, yeah.
That's a wow. Okay.
Yeah, because I think if you go back and look at some of the there's a website that kind of tracks how much money that some of like the top earners have made. Crossfire's always in the top 10, easily in the top 10 for earners of the year.
I'm gonna guess it's a 10-cent game.
I don't remember if it was it Tencent or Nexon. So, part of me wants to say Nexon, but it might be Tencent. And this is not to be confused with the Crossfire game where you shoot the little marbles at little.
See, that's what threw me off. Is I was expecting that Smilegate.
Yeah.
No.
I think they're the ones. Are they the ones that do the multiplayer side?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the multiplayer side.
So this is what happens, folks, when we don't talk ahead of time. We just kind of discuss things in the moment. You get to see us research.
Yep.
That's okay.
SE is what I can find. I don't know what that means. Oh, must be they do it themselves.
In my 15 seconds looking, I did not see whether Smilegate was partially owned by Tencent or not, or fully owned. By...
Smilegate does its own publishing. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, they're the ones doing it.
Cool.
Now
there you go.
And
What a big game. And the single player size. Yeah,
they do. Yep. Smilegate does do it.
Cool. I'm excited to
Remedy and Smilegate.
I'm intrigued knowing Remedy's storytelling
Mm-hmm.
to at least see what happens with it.
Yeah.
I have played a little bit of the multiplayer, and it is pretty fun.
I have to at some point.
Not like something I sink a lot of time into because
Sure.
I play a lot of other shooters like Splitgate and Halo. But
there's too many other shooters on the market.
Mm-hmm. But speaking of shooters, this next game actually could be pretty cool.
Yeah, Arc Raiders.
Arc Raiders.
Arc. What did I say?
I just repeated what you said.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Arc Raiders. Yeah, you're right.
Arc Raiders. New game from Embark.
Yeah.
Free to play cooperative action shooter.
This is where all your Battlefield devs went.
Yeah. This could be interesting. It was just a group of people fighting these huge mechs
and getting missiles shot at them.
Yeah.
Again, it was just no gameplay from what I could tell, but
not that we know of.
Yeah.
But yeah, we knew this was coming because we talked about Embark the other week. So, so it's exciting. We actually got to see a little tease of their upcoming game. So,
yes, we did.
But yeah, any other announcements, trailers, or anything I missed there? We missed a lot, but I mean, like, you know, any of the kind of standouts that you guys noticed. Yeah.
There were just a couple that I thought were kind of cool looking, but I didn't feel like. I mean, like Evil West, I thought kind of looked cool.
The one I felt that came out of like left field was Among Us VR, because I mean,
I'm actually kind of excited about
I'm
that.
intrigued, but I have a gut feeling that that'll be a game that'll get me to jump because I'll be working on something and all of a sudden turn. Ah!
Yep. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
The Matrix Experience.
I thought looked cool.
Matrix Experience was.
Who didn't put that down? The Matrix Experience
pretty cool. It's a lot of fun.
It's free on Xbox.
And
is it on PC?
If I remember.
I downloaded it, but I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, and I didn't even highlight this one, but I liked it. The Cuphead DLC.
Oh, right.
That's going to be awesome.
Yep.
I'm so excited for that. I love Cuphead.
I really like how they did that one.
Yeah.
DLC Island, the delicious last course.
Yep.
It's very.
I like their advertising. It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For a ridiculously difficult game, they advertise really well.
I really want to play because it looks so cool, like Cuphead in general. But everybody says it's super hard, and I have no patience for it. That's a big reason I don't play Dark Souls or get frustrated at some other stuff occasionally.
It's funny because like it's not hard in the fact that the stuff that you do is super challenging. It's that the stuff that you run into is super simple, that you always know that it's because you screwed up is why you died. Like you never feel like the game cheats you for being hard.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, they're like, if you don't have the patience, you might break a controller or two.
Well, I've never broken one, so maybe I should play it and see if I do end up breaking one. So
Just don't
Yep.
use your Halo one.
my Master Chief
Yeah.
Elite Series 2. Yeah. Well, that was all I think the trailers we want to talk about. Did you want to take over for the awards there, Rich?
Sure.
through those?
So the main reason why we watched all of this stuff, not just for trailers, but there are also awards involved in this Game Awards ceremony. Some of these kind of surprising, some of them not so much. Thankfully, this year, The Last of Us Part 2 did not win like every single award. We did have a little bit of variety. But the thing that was interesting is that these went really quick. So we'll go through these pretty quick because there's a lot of categories. I'll go through some of the easier, or not the easier ones, but some of the less important ones, and then we can kind of break into this. So like best community support, Final Fantasy 14 Online. I don't think that one was very surprising. They've been maintaining that game ever since it flopped back in the early 2010s and then resurrected itself. And the community heralds it as, an achievement of a live service game, including, my old roommate. He still plays it today. Best mobile game, Genshin Impact. Best VR was the Resident Evil 4 VR experience. Best action game was Returnal. Best action adventure was Metroid Dread. I'm sure Mike is really happy about that. Best role playing, Tales of Arise. Best fighting game, Guilty Gear Strive. Best family game, It Takes Two. I did find that a little funny because it's about a divorce. Best sports and racing game, Forza Horizon 5. I'm sure that one's a pretty easy one to win.
Yeah.
Best sim strategy, Age of Empires 4. Given the list that they had for runner-ups, that was a pretty easy one to take. Best multiplayer, It Takes Two. Was a little surprised by that one because there was quite a few big multiplayer games that came out this year that, to be fair, that game was really good. I did play it. Best esports game, League of Legends, debatable.
We all know it's Fork Fight, right?
Right. Yeah. Best indie game, Kenna Bridge of Spirits. Did you guys get surprised by that? It also won best debut indie. I felt like I got spoiled on that one. They did a spoiler on that one.
I felt like that one was a little surprising, which I wonder. I feel like that's a fairly recent one, wasn't it? Like it maybe
only
came out
2 months ago or something like that.
Yeah, so it's one that kind of hit the right time, which is the issue with indie games. If you don't come out at the right time, you're going to get forgotten about pretty quickly.
That's true. Or if you come out too early.
Yeah.
The game looks really cool. I didn't know it was an indie studio. Like I just thought it was.
No, I thought they had a good publisher behind them, but apparently I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, it looked like a cool game. I remember being announced E3 2020, and then obviously showed off a little more this year. Looked like a fun game if you're one of the probably maybe 10 or 11 people now that have a PS5.
Right.
We are growing.
We are.
Slowly.
Well, I shouldn't say we. I don't have one.
I was going to say, you don't have one.
That's true. I still haven't been able to get one yet.
So I saw a joke. They announced those new color faceplates that you can replace for your PS5, and I saw somebody in the comments go like, "Great, now I'm gonna go buy a set of these." So it feels like I have a PlayStation, even though I don't.
Some of the last ones, some of the bigger awards were innovation and accessibility, presented by Chevrolet. Forza Horizon 5. So they had they even had, what was it? The thing, one of the things they showed off for that was that they had somebody who was able to interpret sign language for you.
Like on screen.
Yeah, on-screen sign language interpreter. Yeah, that was insane.
I weirdly get excited for this award. I think they started it last year. And last year there was like, when they go into details or you start reading up of some of these games, it's so cool. Like, and it's just great, allowing more and more people to play. So little things like that. So I was like, oh, it's insane that they paid somebody, brought them in to do sign language interpretation, and they're gonna, I don't know where on the screen, but put it somewhere on the screen. So cool stuff.
Yep.
Really awesome.
The most anticipated game was Elden Ring. That's not surprising.
No.
You didn't think so, Matt? What was your most?
It wasn't surprising, but it was again. I'm not a Dark Souls or Souls fan, so I was like, okay.
Well, and again, it just had a tech test that people got to play, so it was fresh in people's minds.
Yeah,
that's the key, man.
My joke most anticipated was Halo Infinite. Anyways.
This one I was actually really, really happy about. Best performance, Maggie Robertson as Lady D.
Well deserved.
Very well deserved. She crushed. Yeah, she crushed it. Best score and music was given to Near Replicant. Best art direction, Deathloop. Also not a very surprising one. That one, very pretty game.
Mm-hmm.
This one I was really surprised by. Best narrative being Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Doesn't surprise me.
Is it good?
It's actually really good.
Even because, compared to the nominees for that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the narrative was fantastic.
I was like all ready to brush that game off and not even care about it, and now I'm kind of like, maybe I'll go give it a try at some point. Obviously, wait for it to go on sale or something sometime.
I think the Avengers game kind of sullied an impression of Marvel games at the moment.
Fortunately, this one came out from, how do you say, Eidos, Montreal. And you only play as Star-Lord, so it helps you focus, but you could call on special abilities from your teammates to help you out. So.
It's cool.
But it's I picked it up during the Black Friday sale on Xbox, and it was so much fun.
Nice. All right. Well, maybe we might have to give that a try then, Matt. Sounds like it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Game of the Year went to It Takes Two.
Last of Us Part 2 should have won. I was so bad.
Yeah, you were so upset. You were ready for The Last of Us Part 2 to win that one.
Yeah, I think it won best Reddit or whatever, and it won best performance. But I was surprised Resident Evil 8 didn't take a few more awards at the show.
Yeah,
it got nominated for a lot. Though.
It did.
I'll say I thought that and Deathloop were going to kind of dominate the show.
I really thought Deathloop was going to take a lot more.
And
honestly,
I was actually really happy with the variety of games that won, which honestly makes watching the show a little more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like last year was so boring because it was like, oh, best this, Last of Us, best that, Last of Us.
You know, maybe they took a note from that too, because I think that was a pretty large criticism last year that The Last of Us Part 2 kind of swept every single other game under the rug with how many awards that it took away.
Especially since so many other games, not saying Last of Us didn't deserve some of those awards, but it just felt just came out at the right time. It was popular, and in some other games that probably should have edged it out in a few of the scenarios, or awards should have actually won. But no, it made it this year so much more exciting to watch and be like, I wonder what game, because it wasn't just Deathloop and Resident Evil cleaning up, so it was really neat. I was a little bummed. I haven't played it yet, but I imagine it's good after we played the first one. Psychonauts 2, I thought would have at least won one award. I actually thought best art direction might have gone to that, but
it did win Game of the Year at X Play this year. I did catch that. So they did win Game of the Year somewhere.
That's good.
Yeah.
I just meant an award. It doesn't have to be Game of the Year, but
sure.
Yeah, I was a little bummed because I know that I'm sure Tim Schafer might have been a little bit bummed about that. They put their heart and soul into getting that sequel made.
And I need to play it.
Yeah, not saying everybody else didn't, but yeah, that game was.
It'd be cool after the fact to actually see what the ratio was for some of those, in terms of how many people voted for which game among. It doesn't need to be among the players. It could just be the actual jurist who really decided, because I think I was reading somewhere the jurists have 90% and the fans have 10% of the weight. So the jurists really decided, not the fans.
You're right.
Interesting.
So it'd be cool to see what did the jurists actually vote for. Like,
Yeah.
were they all pretty much unanimously their picks, or was it different for every single one?
Or even the how much like did the public actually do enough to weight it one way
Right.
or the other?
Yeah,
too?
did we switch a vote? That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be kind of neat to know.
Yeah.
And that's it. That is what we had for awards. Like I said, it was pretty quick.
Mhm.
Like if you were to trim down the whole show to just the awards, it would be like 15 minutes. It was very, very quick. The speeches were not very long.
I love just like those. What award was it? The one guy got, and he was just so nervous he didn't like know what to say, or what was it? There was there was another game where the people came up on stage and they're like, okay, I gotta hurry up because the teleprompter is telling me to hurry up. And then my favorite was Game of the Year.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name?
Joseph something.
Yeah, I love it because earlier in the night, Keeley Goose was it? No, that's the composer. Anyways, whoever it was, earlier in the night, Keeley's like, no, I'm not bringing you up here and giving you a mic. And then the guy goes and his game wins Game of the Year. And he dropped like 2 F-bombs while he was up there. He was so excited. I was like, this is amazing. I love it.
Joseph Ferez. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but yeah.
Yep. I thought
that was a way to end it.
hilarious.
Well, a small part of me was like, is this why it wins Game of the Year? So they could get him up there. So people want to see him drop some F-bombs because he always will. At least this time he didn't go on an anti-action game rant. Was that? I think that was last year. Maybe that was 2 years ago.
I don't remember.
I don't know. I thought it was a good way to
funny.
end the night, though, because it was just...
He's very
he was so excited.
And the game's really good, so...
It is.
Yeah, no, the awards side of it was very, very short.
Yep.
But I mean, I think that's kind of the draw of it now. You know,
It's all about the trailers.
It's kind of what did we call it? What did Mike call it in the Discord? It wasn't. It was a Gamer Christmas is E3, and then it was a Gamer New Year is Game Awards or something. It's because it's mostly looking at games that are coming in the next year and a half, right? So we get all these trailers for just some really cool stuff. It's starting to be a place to kind of do that like end of the year announcement, like which I think is really cool. Again, it adds to the excitement. It gets more people to watch because they know they're going to get 3 hours of trailers and sprinkle in some awards and I think compared to is this the 8th or 9th year they've done this? I remember watching early on and going, man, it's very cringe.
Right. It's not all just Doritos and Mountain Dew.
Right.
Yeah. Or weird little games and antics they did backstage. I think they did that one year. It was awful. So
was that one that still, because Spike TV used to host the show or used to produce, I don't know. Yeah. Host it, produce it with Jeff being the actual host, if I remember correctly.
It's I'd have to go back and look. I just remember one of the early years, they like kept cutting back, to the, backstage, and they had like, I don't know, I think it was Felicia Day was like doing all these weird games with contestants doing weird crap. So it was dumb. But now it's more serious and mostly game trailers, which I think is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you guys think?
Honestly, I thought it was pretty good. There were a lot of cool trailers that were there. I did feel like, I don't know, part of me, while I am excited to see a lot of trailers and stuff like that, part of me does feel a little weird that it focuses so heavily on the trailers part of it. I know that that's what gets the eyeballs in, but part of me is like, it's still more of a celebration of the people who make the games, because we don't really have a proper, awards ceremony that's really formal and really like takes itself seriously kind of a event.
Yeah, there's no Oscars or Golden Globes for Game Awards.
Right. And so part of me is like, man, like you really should be kind of focusing on that, because without these people, we don't get the trailers. Like you got to celebrate the people who put their blood, sweat, and tears into this sort of stuff. So, I love trailers. I love seeing new games come out, but part of me is like, well,
I think it maybe would feel a little bit better if it was only a 2-hour show instead of 3. because then it would seem like there is more of those, award, instead of sprinkling like the 8 or so awards throughout 3 hours. If you kind of do it within a 2-hour window, it would seem like there's more of that. But yeah, no, I get your point. Focusing a little bit more on the creators and celebrating their accomplishments. Again, I don't think they have to go through every single one of these awards each year, but I mean, yeah, a few more would probably be better. Shorten the show. You could still do a lot of sweet trailers and stuff, but make it a 2-hour show and bring up more devs and
well, yeah,
so that get nervous while they're up there talking.
yeah, that's gonna be definitely an issue. But get some of the those technical achievement kind of things, like
right.
Movies get best cinematography and that kind of stuff, and yeah, that's kind of relevant for games too. Like, I don't know. Yeah, they could identify. They're probably not going to be the most well-known names for most fans, but some of the actual, the real hard workers, the real innovators in the game industry.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure that if we dug deep, I mean, we could get some really good, technical achievements,
right?
Besides, best writing or something like that. You could still dig a bit deeper. I don't know how you're going to do best programming or anything like that, but at the same time, you could do
by team. You'd have to do it
or biggest innovation in a game series or something like that.
Yeah. And that's, ideally, I think that's where most of the focus should be. And the fact that they sped through a lot of the other awards kind of is a little weird too, because the first half of these awards that I went through, a lot of them, they just went bam, 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 bam. And then there was no applause. There was no nothing, I'm sure that they could do more things surrounding gaming too. They have done it in the past with I think they've talked about best content creator or something like that. And there's a lot of people besides the developers that kind of go into the gaming sphere too. So they could do stuff like that. I don't know.
Best gaming podcast.
We would win that every year. So they can't have that as an award.
I'm giving our podcast its own Campy for best podcast.
Yep. Best Game Pass podcast.
Yeah, right. Most mentions of Game Pass go to Campfire Gaming Podcast.
There you go.
most mentions of Game Pass by a podcast that isn't sponsored by Game Pass.
Right.
There you go.
Speaking of Game Pass, they did mention that a little bit in the show, how they had a little commercial for Xbox Game Pass for PC, getting an actual name, PC Game Pass.
Makes sense.
Not Xbox Game Pass, it's PC Game Pass.
It's about time.
Yep.
Now that PC Game Pass, is that what it is? Xbox Game?
It's just PC Game Pass.
It should be XPC Cloud Pass.
XPC gaming. Cloud Pass X S.
Series S.
Yep.
Yeah. Cloud PC gaming.
I'm kind of curious. What did you guys think of some of the other things that were in the show? Like some of the they had Sting at the very start of the show.
It was weird.
What was the point of that?
Bored as hell.
So bored.
He looked bored.
Is he in a game or something? Did I miss something about why he was there?
I think he was just singing a song.
They just had
from
a performance.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I missed what game it was from. But I was like, yeah, he looked so bored.
Yeah, he's kind of looking like, why am I here?
No, they some of the other things, I thought the Game Awards Orchestra did good. They played various music from games throughout the show, especially the kind of mashup of some of the themes. They do it every year for the Game of the Year. They take all the nominees and kind of do this, I don't know what you call that music, where you kind of mash up some of the theme songs and kind of play it, which is really cool. Was it Imagine Dragons, and I don't remember their names, but the people that did the music from Bastion,
yeah,
that was kind of cool. And I think a year ago, if that happened, I would have been like, who cares? But since we played Bastion this year, it was like, oh, cool. That's
Ashley Barrett was the other
Ashley
one.
Barrett.
Yeah.
Yep. And she's got a hell of a voice too.
Mm-hmm.
I did find Sting was singing a song from that League of Legends TV show.
That's right. Yeah.
Mike would have probably ID'd that pretty quickly.
Got it. Trying to think of. I mean, we had Reggie out there for a little bit, which is kind of cool.
Always good to see him.
Yep, we love Everybody loves Reggie.
Everybody loves Reggie.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we could highlight before we move on to the Campies. Nope, can't think of anything. Let's move on to the Campies. I feel like I should be wearing a tie right now.
I looked. I don't have any.
Yeah. I have ties, but
I was
they're
going
all
to find a bow tie.
tied up right now.
Yes. So this is the fun part where we get to dive back into the history of the last couple of the year, I guess. We look back at all the book clubs that we've accomplished through. If you're not familiar with our book clubs, go back and listen to some of them. Each month we pick a game either from the community would help us select one, or we rotate and we pick a game that we think would be fun to play for all of us to play together and chat about it. We do a whole episode just diving deep into a nice discussion about the game that we had played, which is why we call it a book club, but it doesn't actually contain any books. So let's just go and recap what the games we actually played were. It was fun going back through this list because I did forget that we played a couple of these. I know that I did not play one of these games. So in order, starting at January, we had A Plague Tale: Innocence. February was Control. For the month of March, we had Ion Fury. April was Undertale. May was Metro 2033 Redux. For, what did I say? That was May?
If we're in June now.
June, thank you. June, we had Journey. For July, it was Destroy All Humans. August was Psychonauts. September was Bastion. October, of course, was Resident Evil. And for November, we had 12 Minutes. December, we don't do one. We only spend half of this. We do the Campies instead, and we take a bunch of time off. So here are the categories for the Book Club Awards, which is what we're going to start off with first. The categories are as follows: Best Story, Best Art Direction, Best Audio Score and Music, and the worst of the Campies, the worst game. So throwing a little bit of salt in there. All right. Besides that, we also have a few awards that we'd like to give out for games that we played for the remainder of the year, but we'll get into those when we get to that. So for the Book Club Campies, Best Story. We're just going to kind of round robin these, and we're going to talk about why you decided to pick it for this year's Campy Award. And then we'll see if we kind of line up on that or if we were all in completely different directions. So, Chris, what was your pick for Best Story of the 2021 Book Club year?
Undertale.
He has chosen Undertale. Why did you choose Undertale?
It probably had the most unique story of all of them, and the one I probably... it was the least predictable of all the games we were playing for me to know exactly where we were going to end up. So,
all right. Matt, what was your choice for the best story?
I actually almost did Undertale too, but I didn't. I went actually with The Plague Tale: Innocence. I guess going into it, I thought it just kind of dealt with the Black Plague and all that, which it did, but it just kind of got more interesting and more fun, and going on the journey with Amicia and Lucas.
Hugo.
Amicia and Hugo.
I mean, Lucas was there.
For some of it, yes.
Did that one on purpose. Amicia and Hugo. It was just I had a lot of fun with it, and then to top it all off with the rat tornadoes at the end, it's a good time.
Cool. For me, the best story, I also picked A Plague Tale: Innocence. I think out of all the games that we have played this year, I felt feelings playing that game. I thought that the narrative was very, very good, dealing with concepts of death and family and a little bit of like vengeance and things like that in there. Plus you had a really, really good cast of characters that all lended to basically telling such an amazing story. And it was one of those games that I honestly didn't think that I would like going into it, but I absolutely loved it. So that is definitely my pick for best story. Best art direction is our next category. Chris, would you like to start us off with your pick for best art direction?
Yeah. This is when I started joining you guys, A Plague Tale: Innocence. Its use of lights, colors in general, just the actual look of the whole world, I just thought was incredible. And it still sits with me. It's just an incredibly gorgeous feels like the wrong word to use because there's a lot of really grim stuff in there, but gorgeous, frankly.
Fields of dead soldiers can look gorgeous too.
Yep. And piles of, what was it, pigs?
Yeah.
Pigs
and
and
bodies,
rats.
Oh, God.
That was a good time.
All right. That's a good pick. Good pick. What did you think, Matt? What was your pick for best art direction?
I really like Bastion. Did we ever decide when we did the book club? It was like a kind of a painted, hand-drawn kind of look, and then just obviously how the world itself was kind of built around you as it walked. Just I thought it was just really cool and unique, and I just had a fun time running through that world and just seeing how the world kind of evolved and the characters and everything. It was a lot of fun. It was such a great looking game. And again, whatever, I don't know what kind of art you call that again, it looked like kind of painted, but also draw. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, it was very
style
like stylized art.
Yeah.
Style.
I thought that was just really cool.
Yeah. So for me, I decided to go with Resident Evil Village as my best art direction. I loved the way that they captured sort of this like medieval gothic looking tiny village with that the inside of Castle Dimitrescu was so good. That was so beautiful with like, you had the little like blood pools and while some of the levels I didn't think were very great atmospherically and artistically, I thought they were really, really good. They really sold the boss that you were going to fight, whether it be like the big fetus monster or Heisenberg with his crazy goofy factory. Even if it might not mesh super well with the rest of it, I thought it just was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So that was our picks for best art direction. Now moving on to best audio, score, and music. What, Chris, was your pick for the score, music, and audio?
So, I want to say this right now. I am not just copying whatever you said last, but I did pick Resident Evil Village because just the incidental sounds throughout the whole game like really draw you in and kind of mess with you a little bit. I mean, and the baby is utterly terrifying and creep me out far more than I think anything else in any other game has disturbed me and made me uncomfortable. And it was just really well done and draws you into the world and lets you really feel what Ethan feels while he's there.
Yeah, it's true. That's some creepy sounds too. That baby was, yeah.
And the guns sound fantastic. Just everything sounds great.
Yeah, that was really good. Matt, what was your pick for best audio?
This was mostly because of the soundtrack, but I was kind of thinking back to all the games we played and just realized I listened to the Undertale soundtrack so much because it was so good. I don't know what it was about that soundtrack. I just really dug it and listened to it probably more than a lot of the games we have here had great soundtracks, but that was my main reason for picking it. It was just such a fun soundtrack. It really added to the world, the music as you're fighting or dancing or whatever it is you were doing, with the various bosses and monsters in that it was just a lot of fun. That was my pick, Undertale.
Nice. All right. So my pick for best audio, score, and music was Bastion, and that was mostly because of the soundtrack as well. Yeah. And I'm glad that they actually played Zia's theme at the Game Awards, which I thought was pretty cool. I was a little tickled by that.
That was a really close second. I almost went with Bastion.
It has an amazing soundtrack. The people at Supergiant just have always crushed it with their soundtracks.
I will say I almost picked Control just because of the song near the end of the game when you walk into the room and the music video pops up. I almost selected it. But no.
That was really good.
All right. So on
Chris
to
is ready for this one.
onto a salty category. Out of all the games that we had played for the 2021 book club year, what do you think was the worst game that we had played? Chris, you want to start us off with this one?
Yeah. So I'm gonna preface it this way. Overall, I can't really say I disliked any of the games we played. So it was really picking what games spoke to me the least, and that had to be Ion Fury.
Okay.
Because for me, I had passed by that genre of games, and it just didn't speak to me as much as some of the other ones had. It's still a really good game, and it does bring back a lot of memories of Duke Nukem and
kind of 90s shooter nostalgia.
Yeah, Doom and all that kind of stuff. I was about to name some really bad ones from that era, but it doesn't.
Shadow Warrior.
I was gonna say Dark
Forces.
Yeah. Dark Forces. I did love that game, but yeah, it didn't grab me as much as some of our other games did. But I could guess that some other ones are gonna come up now.
All right, Matt.
I was so excited for this one because I just wanted to shit on one of you guys so bad. Much like what Chris said, though, I'll echo. Pretty much all the games were kind of fun, and then looking back at this, I was like, what's the worst game we played? And sorry, Rich, I'm gonna pick one of your games. 12 minutes.
Oh.
I was looking, and like, what is the one like? Because Chris is sitting here expecting me to say Metro. Like,
yeah, it really was.
Yep.
Like, there was a lot of stuff wrong with that, but it was a shooter, so it was easier for me to still enjoy it, even though there was a lot of not great about it. 12 minutes I struggled with and got frustrated, and it really just, that's the game I look back at all the 11 games we played and go, what was the one that really just annoyed the shit out of me? Well, like, okay, yeah, Metro wasn't great, but it was really 12 minutes because I sucked at that game so bad that I got so frustrated with it. There was a lot of good about it, a lot of neat stuff, but like, I just struggled with it. And I would say, to me, that was probably the worst game I played this year, just because I was so bad at it and got so frustrated.
Hey,
so.
That's fair. We gotta dump on somebody's game. All right. So in the same vein, what I was looking for when we were picking the worst game, because like what you guys have said, none of these games I actually hated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I actually really enjoyed playing pretty much everything, but when I really was coming down to like, what was the game that I enjoyed the least is what I picked for my worst, for the worst game. And for me, that game was Journey. And the reason I picked Journey is because it was really short.
Mm-hmm. It
was very linear, and you didn't really do that much. There was a lot of like neat set pieces, with there wasn't any dialogue in the game, so I mean, you kind of had to interpret whatever the story was kind of throwing at you. There were a little bit of puzzles here and there, and there were some cool moments of it, but out of all the games that we had played, I didn't get as much enjoyment out of it as I got pretty much every other game. It didn't blow me away like Undertale or A Plague's Tale. And it didn't really, give me that sort of like 90s nostalgia comfort that Ion Fury did, or, bring me back to, some good times with Bastion. So it wasn't just nostalgia that I was looking at. It was just, what did I enjoy the most? And Journey, I enjoyed the least out of every one of these games.
Taking shot at our first ever community pick game.
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry, Trey. Sorry.
Yep. So to go along with that, though, we're not going to end it there. We're going to end on a positive. We need some goatees up in this bitch. All right. So what is your guys' pick for your, like, if you were to be the one judge of the Campies, what is your pick for goatee of the book clubs? Chris, start us off.
Control. It's not the best at the categories we talked about, but just all together, it was so much fun. I loved every second of it. And the expansions with the connection to Alan Wake, just, fanboy and me got really excited. So that's
a fair pick.
Yeah.
That's the one game I didn't play out of this year's book club. Yep. I was busy that February.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Matt, what is your goatee pick?
I like it didn't win any of my individual awards, but I think overall, out of enjoyment of art and audio, like everything, probably Resident Evil Village. I think overall, I think that was the one that was just
fun.
like, that like the story wasn't the best, or but it was good, especially since we played Resident Evil 7. So seeing the craziness with Ethan, it was just what was going on with him. Fun with the gameplay, the world design, like everything. I think overall, that was probably my favorite one playing. That I played this year.
That's a fair pick. That's a fair pick. All right. So for my book club goatee, I chose A Plague Tale: Innocence.
Nice.
I think just as a complete package, that game brought everything. It was an emotional story. It was really, really fun and innovative gameplay. It was pleasantly surprising because like I said, it was one of those games that I wasn't sure if I was going to like. It was outside my comfort zone, and I was a little leery. I'm like, okay, am I actually going to like this, or am I going to have to railroad through this because I'm going to be bored as shit? No, I loved every second of it. I thought it was just a great game. So that was why I picked A Plague Tale as my goatee game. And there you have it. Those are the Campies for the 2021 book club series. Hopefully some of you, the dear listener, have participated in some of those book clubs, and we are very much looking forward to picking up the book club next year. However, we're not going to stop there. We still got a lot more awards to give out. So here is a word from our sponsor. All right, sponsorship is over because we don't have any. So we're going to go on to our next couple of picks. We decided that as a general pick for the 2021 year, we wanted to go and take a look at some of the games that we played that weren't necessarily in the book club, but it's not limited to just the book club. So we wanted to go back, see what sort of games we thought deserved rewards in our eyes. And we're going to start it off with the following categories for the General Picks Awards. And those are going to be Best Story, Best Art Direction, Best Audio Score. These are starting to sound very familiar. Best Single Player, Best Multiplayer, Best Co-op, Best New Series, Best Gameplay, and our own goatee for the games that we have played, as well as the most anticipated game of 2022, the one we are looking excited for the most in the future. So we're just going to go around and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do it in order from the list that I just spouted off. We're going to start with Best Story. Matt, what is your pick for Best Story? The General Campy Awards.
It's kind of it's a tale that's been told many a times, but I'm enjoying the journey along with it. Is Detroit Become Human, right?
Oh,
we've seen it with Data. We've seen it in Westworld with, I forget what her name is, and the other androids in there. But like that whole that whole story of androids becoming sentient, and then do they have are they their own individual people type thing, right? And I'm just really enjoyed the story there. It's a lot of fun, and funny enough, that's a Quantic Dreams game, as we were just talking about Star Wars Eclipse. So playing that game and then watching the Eclipse trailer, I was like, I just hope the same level of storytelling is there in that game as there is in Detroit.
That's a solid pick. All right, Chris.
For me, Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Ooh, nice.
I was a fan of the original the PlayStation 4 Spider-Man game, and Miles Morales just knocked it up a whole new notch and was a blast. Just so good to play.
All right.
Gets you in the feels too.
That's good. All right. For me, my best story was It Takes Two, kind of borrowing a little bit from the actual Game Awards. My wife and I had played through It Takes Two, and I thought it was a very, very touching story. And I don't honestly play a lot of story games throughout the year that isn't book club related. And I didn't want to give the book club more awards. So, yeah, It Takes Two. It won a special place in my heart. All right, so we're going to move on to the Best Art Direction. same idea as the book club, kind of looking for that overall look and feel of the game, how it, how cohesive is it to the rest of the game and really sells the immersive experience. Chris, what is your pick for the best art direction for 2021?
This one was honestly kind of an easy one for me, though I feel like it kind of feels like cheating, but Deathloop. I absolutely that game is amazing. I entirely agree with the Game Awards on that one.
Solid pick.
Matt, what do you think? What is your best art direction for 2021?
I played through the I guess main game and then the DLCs this year that came out was Doom Eternal and more importantly the Ancient Gods Part 1 and 2. Doom Eternal with ray tracing. I know, let's laugh. Ray tracing, 4K, HDR. This game looks amazing and really just pulls you into hell, and it's fantastic, and I love it. And it was just such a great looking game. You all should play it.
So
ray tracing.
So it's the Ancient Gods is basically what you're going with?
The Ancient Gods Part 1 and 2, but I mean just Doom Eternal in general would probably be a good answer too.
That's fair.
Doom Eternal as a whole, the story, including the DLC.
That's fair. All right. So for me, for best art direction, this is going to be kind of a funny one because it's, barely a game, but I'm actually giving this one to Star Citizen. I started playing Star Citizen earlier this year, and I have truly been captivated by how beautiful that game actually is. It's barely functioning as a video game. Okay, that's not fair. It is it's pretty far along, and they've done a lot with it, and I actually really enjoy playing it. But there are some, vistas and things like that make the game absolutely gorgeous and sell you that you really are in an immersive universe. So like, being able to land my ship on top of like a mountain on one of the planets and looking over the sun setting over the clouds that I know that the planet is actually rotating around, and seeing it just like dim the lights as the stars come out and all that. It sells it so well. I think it's just beautiful.
Nice.
Cool. So moving on, the next category that we have is best audio score and music. Chris, what is your pick?
Unpacking. It is probably one of the most relaxing games I've played in quite a while. The music is very chill, very just calms you down a bit. And what really impresses me the most is they recorded audio for the different objects in the game being dropped on different surfaces. So it's all very distinct and unique sounds. And that's just mind-blowing that someone sat there and just did that.
Oh, that's cool. Matt, what is your pick for best audio score and music of 2021?
This one was tough for me. And maybe next year we need to split it between music and then actually audio design. I almost went with Hell Let Loose with their audio design, but really I went with, just because I've been listening to this for probably a straight week. The Halo Infinite soundtrack, we'll have hopefully maybe one of our episodes, or when we're back next year, we'll have a little bit of a review once we all get through Halo Infinite and give our thoughts. But the soundtrack, I can say right now, is amazing. It's both new and also includes so many themes from the original Bungie games that I love it. It's so fantastic. I don't even know the composer, but whoever did the music for Halo Infinite has my pick for Campy this year for best audio score and music.
Solid. So my pick for best audio score and music is Valheim. I love the chill tunes of Valheim when you're just kind of running through the plains. The plains specifically, that track I really, really love. The boss battle music I thought was always, it's just really, really fun to get involved in that. I think it sells the mood so well with that music. So I wanted to make sure that I gave that a proper shout out because I've loved that game so much. All right. So that's scratches off the audio score and music. We're going to be moving on to the next category, which is the best single player. Chris, what is the best single player of 2021 that you have played this year?
Like the Game Awards, I'm going with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
It just grabbed my attention and just never let it go the whole time I played it.
Awesome.
It was so much fun.
Cool. Yeah, again, we're going to have to check that one out. Matt, what is your pick for best single player?
Best single player, nothing better than just ripping and tearing through a bunch of demons. The 30 seconds of fun gameplay loop. I know 30 seconds of fun is a Bungie Halo thing, but still, just how insane, especially the Ancient Gods part 1 and 2. What is it? The little gore nest things where you would spawn and there'd be a certain area it locks you into and sends a couple different waves at you. Just the insanity. And when you get through that, you're just like, fuck yeah, that was so cool. So it was just playing through that, just the experience through that, along with just the insane story. Again, going through hell, or in the Ancient Gods, you fight a couple gods, and I won't say too much because it's still pretty new and I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, it was just insane. It's an insanely good time. So
Awesome. All right. So this one might actually be kind of surprising, and while I might have problems with some of it, might have some problems with some of the game, I honestly think that as far as a single player, I have not had this much fun in a single player in so long, and that is going to Halo Infinite. I think that the single player, the campaign for it, while I might have some problems with the narrative, I might have some problems with some of the external systems of the game, just the regular, like you said, that 30 seconds of fun when it comes down to some of those missions, some of the fighting, the grappling, all the stuff that you can do in the game. I had such a blast with the campaign. So I decided that I gotta give one out to my bread and butter here. So I gotta give one out to Halo Infinite for that one. That was my best single player.
Nice.
All right. So to couple that, playing games is usually better with friends. So we're going to make sure that we give a proper award to the best multiplayer game of 2021. Chris, what is your pick for best multiplayer?
This is probably the hardest one. I was somewhat tempted to give it to Hell Let Loose because it is fundamentally it's a really good multiplayer game, but my experience with it tends to be not as great because of my own abilities. So instead I went with a game that just felt right, and that was Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite.
The multiplayer just reminds me of playing old school Halo. There's flaws. It's not perfect in some of the other aspects of it, and the complaints about the battle pass are out there, and some of the lists or playlists and everything aren't there, but the fundamental mechanics of the game are what I was looking for, and it just felt right. Jumping into a match just feels fun.
It's kind of what I was saying with the single players. Is the general gameplay of it is just so strong.
Yep.
Matt, what is your best multiplayer?
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
I've been talking about it. I've been talking about it since June. It's Hell Let Loose, man. I've got 150 hours in that in the last 6 months or so. It just scratches that kind of battlefield itch, and then it's just so much better whenever you get into a good squad, whether that's with friends or you're lucky enough to get a good squad of randos. It can just, as we've said when we did our little kind of review of it, it can be one of the best experiences, but also one of the worst. But I'm good enough now where I'd like to say most of my experiences are
pretty good now.
But yeah, I love that game, and it's probably going to be a while before I put that down and move on to something else.
It's pretty good. For me, I might not have been playing it as of recently because of Halo Infinite, but Halo Infinite is not my pick for best multiplayer. Instead, I gave it to its younger cousin, Splitgate, is my pick for best multiplayer. When I first picked up on it in, I think it was June or July or something like that, I was immediately in love with the game. It really, really captures that arena shooter so well. It's so innovative with that portal mechanic and all of the different like game modes and like how well it plays with other people, especially with friends, is just it's so incredibly good. So I have to give it up to them because they have such a good offering for multiplayer that it deserves an award. All right. So moving on to the next category, which is best co-op. We might not play a lot of these, but I think there are a couple of these that definitely stand out above the rest. Chris, what was your pick for best co-op?
This is another really tough one because there are some really good co-op games. Like It Takes Two is a really good co-op. Phasmophobia is a really good co-op. But at the end of the day, I gave it to a game that probably wouldn't come to people's mind initially, but in my head, it is co-op is so fundamentally a part of the game and making it work that I'm giving it to Hell Let Loose.
Nice.
If you don't work together, you are going to lose.
That's true. And lost we have many times.
Yep.
From not cooperating.
Mm-hmm. Though our squads generally cooperate. It's just getting everyone else to do it.
Right.
Is the issue.
And when you do cooperate, oh
my
God.
It
just feels
flows.
good. Yes. All right. Good pick. Good pick. Matt, what was your choice for best co-op game?
As a group, we've played a lot of kind of fun. I've played other co-op games with other friends too, but as a group, I thought most of the ones we played this year were pretty solid. Hell Let Loose, Sea of Thieves, Valheim. They were all a ton of fun. But the one I think, thinking back, that I had the most fun with was Phasmophobia.
Wow. Okay.
I haven't played that in a while.
Because we played that for a good month or two straight, and it was a lot of fun. It was so cool getting in and taking down ghosts or getting mad because we couldn't get the ghost to summon or whatever, the
get a
running
picture.
water or get a picture or something. But it was a lot of fun to play with you guys and BS and in my case be that guy that just stood in the ghost room and tried to get the best picture. It was a good time. I had a lot of fun with that.
We'll have to do the new update sometime.
Yep, the cursed objects update.
Yeah.
All right. So my pick for best co-op game, this one was a pretty easy one. It Takes Two. I don't think I've ever played a co-op game that I've liked more ever. Like, I think that this really, really came out strong from the beginning, and from the first couple of levels that Heather and I did, we were hooked. It was so much fun to do the little puzzles and really, really feel like you have to coordinate a bit to actually progress through the game. So yeah, that one was an easy sell for me.
Nice.
Cool.
All right. So, there's a lot of games that come out throughout the year. Many of them could be sequels or prequels or interquels, but for this one, we really wanted to highlight what was the best new series / game. Like, what was the best new game that came out this year for you, Chris?
Deathloop.
Nice.
It's just because everything felt so polished. I mean, clearly they took a lot of what they did with the Dishonored, there it is, series, and just built on that. And I want to see more, like so much more, because the game is so great. And come out on Xbox Game Pass, maybe.
That'd be nice.
Because then more people could play it. But yeah, no, it's definitely Deathloop.
All right, Matt, what is your pick for best new series?
I unfortunately might start sounding like a broken record here, just for a little foreshadowing.
Let me guess.
It's Phasmophobia.
Phasmophobia.
See.
Hell Let Loose.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, I figured that.
Again, it was hard. Like, just thinking through some of these categories, hard not to pick. Honestly, again, spoiler: a few of the awards are going to go to Hell Let Loose, because I just it just feels good. I have so much fun playing it. It's the first game in a very long time where I just sunk hours into, and then there goes my Saturday, or every night in a week, like, dude, let's all get on and play. And I've wanted to, scratch that Battlefield itch for the longest time, because I haven't been able to scratch that itch since Bad Company 2. And, being able to do that with this game is just, I love it. It's just so much fun. And I'm excited to see them add more stuff to the game, like the Pacific and all that, whatever they're doing with the future updates, because they're going to be continuing to add more content to it. So yeah, it's probably my best new game, I guess, of the year, because it's not really a series.
That's true. Yeah, best new game. So for me, I'm giving it to one that I've already given an award to, but I thought it definitely deserved it. I'm giving it to Valheim. For a brand new game that came out earlier this year that kind of like, I mean, it took the world by storm, man.
Mhm.
Like everybody was getting in on Valheim, and I could see immediately why when you spun up that server and we were kind of plowing through some of the earlier content together, like I could tell like both of us were just like in love with this game. We were just like, wow, this is so cool. Like I absolutely love every minute of this. This is so great. So I had to give it to Valheim on that one. All right. So I mean, a game is nothing without the gameplay. And I think, mechanics speak to a lot of the game's quality. And, really, if you're not having fun, then what's the point in playing the game? So this next category is best gameplay. So, Chris, what is your pick for best gameplay of 2021?
Valheim. It had to be, because no game let you really just kind of explore the mechanics and didn't really punish you that harshly for it. And if you're watching this video and you haven't watched us go after Bone Mass, for the love of God, do it, because it was a hell of an experience.
That was so fun.
So amazing. It rewarded your exploration, and it didn't really hold your hand. And it just was so much fun. Like building structures was awesome. The combat was fun. Like every part of it just felt good.
Or us trying to take down Motor.
Yeah.
We had to build that stupid castle to take out Motor.
Well,
and then she just like yeeted the whole castle.
But we won at the second time. We won. Or like I'll still always remember, I think we were fighting no, it wasn't Bone Mass, it was something else. Maybe it was Mortar. And I'm trying to run back over there and re-get my stuff. I'm naked running through the woods, and I can look over and I see skeletons fighting an ogre just off in this slight distance. And I'm like, this game's just weird. I love this. This is great. But yeah, no, it's Valheim.
Yeah, solid experience.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, what was your pick for best gameplay?
The squad mechanics when you're working together, and if you're working together with the other squads, pushing together, again, it can be one of the best or worst experiences. But if you get a good commander, good group of squad leaders, and your own squad is working together well, Hell Let Loose is just a shit ton of fun. I won't say any more because, again, can't say enough about it.
Fine.
So I'm just going to stop.
I'll say something about that for you. The idea that a brand new player can just jump into that game and play a role and pretty much do fine, but you can have the more experienced players really kind of guiding things along is just crazy. And the game rewards that concept.
Yep. The game rewards working together and playing your roles. And there is grinding to unlock things, but it's not like it's more of it's giving you more options, not necessarily going to make you better than this person or that person. It's just going, I got a different, now I can carry extra explosive ammo and follow my AT guy, anti-tank guy around and let him refill on rockets. That's a different role for that support class. So yeah, it's just a great game. I love the gameplay and how it all just works together. If you work together.
It's true. So for my pick for best gameplay, also Hell Let Loose. I think just because the game is so, even though we play so many of those maps over and over and over, the gameplay is so dynamic that it just, every time you play it, it feels a little bit different. And like you said, working together and having to fill a role and the game changes based on what role it really does change based on what role you play. You play medic, everyone's going to yell at you for not rezzing them. You play engineer, you get to sit behind the lines and start building like structures and things like that. Or, if you want to just go out and kill people, play machine gunner and you'll get 50 kills in a match or something like that. Like it's such a great game just on its gameplay alone. And I think just the fact that it is such a great multiplayer experience just is a great layer of icing on top of that delicious cake. All right. So this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Well, almost. Well, before we get to the game of the year, which I'm pretty sure I know what it's going to be for Matt.
Yeah,
we're going to get to looking towards the future. We have a whole nother year for the Campfire Gaming Podcast. We got a whole nother year of like book clubs and more content and news and reviews and all sorts of stuff. But we want to know, what is your most anticipated game for 2022? Chris, what are you looking forward to?
I really struggled on this one. I'm not going to lie. I probably spent the most time here.
A lot of good stuff coming next year.
Right? I mean, like, I'm super pumped about Dying Light 2 because I'm a huge fan of the original. But I have to go where my heart really lies, and that's Starfield.
Starfield. All right.
Just have to wait a long time.
Yes. Like probably late next year.
Yeah.
I think
it's November 20th, 22nd. I remember seeing it. Now I can't recall.
Yeah, they put a date to it. I can't remember. All I'm thinking is 11/11/11, but that's Skyrim.
Yeah,
that was a few years ago. All right, Matt, what is your most anticipated game of 2022?
This one was a hard one for me too. Starfield was up there. Plague Tale Requiem, Hellblade 2, Halo Infinite when it comes out of early access. All games I'm looking forward to next year. But the one I think I'm most excited for, assuming it doesn't get delayed anymore, is it's going to make me go out and try to be probably about the time it actually comes out, like maybe the 20th person that tries to get a PlayStation, that gets a PlayStation 5. But God of War Ragnarok. I love the first one, and I'm so excited. This is, one of the games, this and like an Uncharted game are what make me go out and get a PlayStation. And I'm so excited. This game looks like it's going to rock, and or Ragnarok, right?
And we're done.
Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
So I'm excited for this. I hope it still remains in the 2022 window, and I hopefully can find a PlayStation 5 when it comes out.
Good luck, my friend.
Yeah.
So for my most anticipated game of 2022, we've seen trailers for this plenty of times already, and I get excited literally every time I see a new trailer or even the same trailer. And I'm so pumped to play Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I am so looking forward to that. That is easily my most anticipated for 22.
Sure.
I'm playing through the one shot right now with some buddies. And it's as good as I remember it was.
Yeah. I just played that for the first time. Like, I think last year was the first time that I had played through that. And I was like, I can see why everybody just hypes this up so much.
Just Mr. Torg. Blow up those airships. Oh, now you just destroyed the defenses. Now blow up the ocean.
Oh boy.
Yep. Good times.
All right. Fellas, it's time to get this all put together. It is, out of all the games that we've played, out of all the experiences that we have experienced over the course of 2021, it's time to pick the best of the best. And that is, what is your pick for game of the year for 2021? Chris, what are you picking?
No game, I feel like, wrapped up its trilogy as well as the game I'm about to pick. And it also has a really good preview of what its VR experience can actually be. It's got a lot of options for the player. It has a lot of places for you to explore. And it has a lot of ways for you to end the lives of other people. And that game is Hitman 3. Plus, You could drop it like it's hot in as a DJ in a Berlin club. Like that game's flipping awesome.
Nice, good pick. I had not played it. But the VR experience is sold.
So it's right now it's currently only VR and PlayStation, so it's very limited, but they have announced that they're bringing it to PC this next year. So
Okay.
I'm hoping for a more robust system, but yeah, the VR as it stands, like standing on a skyscraper in Abu Dhabi and looking down and just all of a sudden everything just sinks.
You get the vertigo and all that.
It's just like, no, I can't move at all. But I'm excited. I love it.
All right. Good pick. Matt, did Hell Let Loose win Game of the Year this year for you?
I'm gonna throw a curveball here. The Last of Us Part 2. No, of course Hell Let Loose won. Yes. It's my game of the year. Obviously it's won a couple of my awards here. I'm just gonna stop talking. I've said enough about it. So it's a great game. Go play it. Join our Discord. Come play with me. It's a good time.
All right. So for my Game of the Year pick, I mean, this one was a pretty hard one because I've played quite a few games this year that were really, really good. I've also played quite a few games that were really, really bad this year. But the one that stood out above the rest, and the one that I definitely had, going back to the book club thing, it's, what did I have the most fun, the most enjoyment out of this entire year? And that was Hell Let Loose as well. Definitely sold on, the fact that they finally made it out of early access this year, so we're all super happy with them. They keep adding in great updates. We got the Eastern Front update. We got new tanks just recently with new sound effects, so they're constantly adding new content, and the gameplay itself is just chef kiss. It's so good. So I had to give it to Hell Let Loose.
Understandable. Yeah, it's a really good one.
Just had so much fun with it. Well, that wraps up the Campies for 2021. Matt, would you like to bring us home for the closer?
I don't have any words prepared. I'm sorry. So this will be another train wreck like last week. But no, thank you very much for listening to us this year and at this episode. I had a ton of fun recording with you guys this year, and I hope the rest of the fans enjoyed listening to our banter and our good and bad picks and opinions and all that fun stuff this year. Thanks for listening to the Campies. Be sure to come and subscribe to our podcast on both YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find our links at campfiregamingpodcast.com. Where all our social links are, and things like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that fun good stuff. But again, thank you guys for a wonderful year. Thank you, listeners. And until I guess 2022, we'll see you next time around the campfire. Campfire. God damn it.